the dreaded price objection. It's difficult for salespeople to manage the price objection, and in this module, we're going to talk about why. And not only that, we're going to talk about how you can change your sales behavior in order to appeal to more customers at a higher level, to talk to customers about something other than price, and to be able to manage the price objection even more effectively. The price objection is the single most common, the most frequent objection that us salespeople hear. How long do you have to stay in sales before you hear the price objection? About one customer. We know the customer is going to raise the price objection, or do we? You see, the price objection, while it's the most common, the most frequent objection that customers raise, it is never or very rarely valid. We look at products like consumer electronics. Well, of course, consumer electronics are sold on price, and there are big box stores in your neighborhood that will sell you consumer electronics at lower and lower prices. But what about Apple? What about Bose? These are consumer electronics companies that don't negotiate the price. You and I need to set the same paradigm in our minds so that we can set the same paradigm in the minds of our customers. Thoughts always precede actions. Thoughts always precede actions. So the first step in managing the price objection is to manage our thoughts about the price objection. So what is the price objection? It's typically raised out of habit. You see, when you and I go shopping, there are certain environments where we know we're going to raise the price objection. When buying an automobile, we believe nobody pays sticker price, so of course we're going to play let's make a deal with the dealership. We think the dealer may have greater skills in negotiating than we do. Today, the dealerships think we may have more capability than they do because of the information that's available on the internet. So we go into this scenario right off the bat knowing we're going to negotiate. The price objection is the most common, the most frequent objection that salespeople hear, and therefore it is typically expected. We expect the customer to raise the price objection, and the customer expects us to capitulate on price. So look at how the thinking is going already. We're already into a let's make a deal scenario. The price is never the price. It's often raised out of habit. What if we didn't have to negotiate? What if the price objection never arose? There are 8 levels of value-added selling. In the lower levels, we learn how to overcome the price objection. In the higher levels, we learn how to eliminate the price objection. What would it be worth to you to never hear the price objection again? And that's where we're going with the value-added series. Once the customer recognizes and qualifies and quantifies what you are worth to them, they will be willing to pay the price. Quite often, the price objection arises because the customer does not appreciate the difference in cost and price. In cost and price. There is a significant difference between cost and price, and in fact, the item with the lowest price tag often has the highest cost. When we buy on the cheap and the item doesn't last as long. When we buy on the cheap and the item does not perform as well. How much money have we really saved? Was it really worth the lower price? So we need to find customers who understand the difference in cost and price. And if we are selling to someone who doesn't understand the difference in cost and price, I believe we're selling to the wrong person. But sometimes we have to teach that individual. The single most important function of sales is to teach. The single most important function of sales is to teach. So our job as salespeople is to go in with the mental attitude that our price is not too high. And if the customer raises the price objection, it's an indication that we have more teaching to do. Another factor we need to look at is, are we talking to the right person? Are we talking to the right person? You see, if we're positioned with a professional buyer, with a purchasing agent, They have been told to go buy something. They may or may not understand all the intricacies of the item, but they've been told to go buy it. So maybe they're going to look at you and look at your competition. And they're not in a position to appreciate your features and benefits. They may not be in a position to appreciate your differentiation, and as a result, the sale deteriorates to price. So what we want to do is look at who else could we be talking to. Do you understand that if you're selling to a purchasing agent, they're looking at a specification sheet, and either your product meets specs or it doesn't. Either your competitor's product meets specs or it doesn't. And if both appear to meet the specs, notice the word appear, if they both appear to meet the specs, then the customer's going to buy on price. Maybe you and I should look at who's writing the specs. Could we get to the individual? Could we find the individual who is writing the specifications and see if we couldn't teach them there are some other variables they need to consider? Think about this for a moment. Can you keep up with the reading, with the information available on your products and services, your technology, your industry, and your competition? Probably not. Things are changing too rapidly. Well, what makes you think your customer's keeping up? They are using the information that they have to make a very important decision. Perhaps their information is outdated, or perhaps their information is lacking. And as a result, we need to teach them. This is what's new. This is what's changed. This is what we need to look at differently. Who determines value? Who determines value? All too often as sales professionals, we know all of the reasons why customers have bought from us in the past. Those may be meaningless to the next customer we talk to. It's only value if the customer perceives there is value. There's no one size fits all in sales. So as sales professionals, we go in with the understanding that we're going to determine how the customer values our product or service, how the customer values the ancillary capabilities that we bring to the table, and then we will sell them our value. There may be many features and benefits we never even mention because they are not a part of the customer's value calculation. We sell based on how the customer values what we are selling. There's a process in value-added selling, and you'll see it all through this series, called qualify and quantify. Qualify and quantify. Become as proficient as you can at qualifying and quantifying. Qualifying means we determine as many areas as possible where we are going to impact the customer's business in a B2B world. In a B2C world, we determine as many ways as possible that we're going to impact their personal lives. In a B2C world, if you were selling swimming pools, you might say that one of the things it will do is provide exercise for the homeowner. You might also say it will provide a social environment where their family and friends can come over. You might also say it will enhance the resale value or the attractiveness of the home. So there's a lot of different features. What we want to qualify is which of those is most important to the customer, and then we put them in an order of priority. Then we quantify. What is that really worth to you? In a B2B scenario, we tie qualifying and quantifying to the customer's top line and bottom line. What will this product or service do to help them generate more revenue, to attract more customers, to gain more market share? And at the end of the day, what will this mean to their bottom line? What will this mean to their profitability? Qualify and quantify. Qualify, look at all the categories. Quantify, what are each of those categories worth to this particular customer right now? So we focus on ROI and TCO. ROI is return on investment. TCO, total cost of ownership. There's a lot of different ways to measure, actually measure, as in a science, measure our value to our customer. And you and I need to develop as many of these as possible. Perhaps even build calculators. Build the capability to quantify our value to our customers. Managing the price objection begins with pre-call planning. Pre-call planning is the first activity seasoned salespeople abandon, and there's a complete module on how to do value-added pre-call planning. In the history of recorded time, no customer has ever said, "Your price is too high," and meant it. Teach others.